Every day after 60 feels like walking on the edge. People around you die suddenly from a heart attack, pneumonia, or a strange flare-up of old conditions. But if you look closer, it always starts earlier, with a small symptom, a slight change in the way you walk, trouble waking up, morning fatigue that no tea or sleep can fix. Aging doesn't begin at 80, it starts the moment someone thinks, maybe it's time to slow down. And they do. They skip a walk, delay breakfast, don't call their son. Then comes high blood pressure, shortness of breath, sleepless nights. Suddenly, the body stops listening, the mind gets foggy, the soul feels empty. The Center for Gerontology in San Francisco discovered that most elderly people start aging not because of biology, but because of habit, because of doing nothing. When a person loses energy, sleep, and purpose, they begin to fade, even if their tests are still normal, even if doctors say it's just age. It's not age, it's failure. And if you don't step in on time, the body goes beyond the point of return. In this video, we'll share 5 secrets known only to long-lived people, those who've passed 90 and kept a sharp mind, a strong body, and joy in life. Subscribe, hit the like button, and stay until the end so we can continue helping you with practical health advice. The statistics are frightening. After 65, every second person loses part of their function, balance, strength, memory, social connection. After 70, the risk of fractures, dementia, and stroke grows rapidly. But what's surprising is that in some families, people die at 72, and in others, they live to 95 with a clear mind. Why? A study in the Journal of Cellular Aging found that genes explain only 25% of longevity. The rest is lifestyle, food, sleep, movement, emotional well-being, habits, structure. The small everyday choices we repeat over decades are what matter. They decide whether we'll have a stroke at 74 or dance at our grandson's birthday at 89. Longevity isn't luck or magic. It's a system. And the ones who lived longest followed these rules long before science caught up. Aging doesn't start with wrinkles. It begins with loss of adaptability. The body struggles to adjust to temperature, schedule changes, stress. Heart rate variability drops. Thermoregulation fails. Hormones go off balance. The nervous system suffers most. People become anxious, sleep poorly, react strongly to noise, get irritated by small things. This is neurovegetative exhaustion. Then blood vessels, joints, and metabolism start to break down. Silent inflammation builds up even without illness. Experts call it inflammaging. It damages vessels, weakens the brain, speeds up bone loss and muscle atrophy. That's why after 70, the risk of death from a simple cold or a fall jumps sharply. And the worst part? It could have been stopped 10 years earlier, 5, even 6 months, if we had known what to change. Many older adults believe aging is just a natural process, but modern gerontology proves otherwise. Aging is 75% the result of accumulated mistakes. Mistakes in food, sleep, movement, habits, ignoring warning signs. These habits start to work against us as we age. After 60, muscle mass drops by 3 to 8% per year. By 80, up to 50% of muscle can be gone. This doesn't just mean weakness. It means losing the ability to walk, stand, recover from illness. One virus, and you can't get up. One stressful day, and blood pressure surges. One sugary snack at night, and in the morning, insomnia, swelling, shaky hands. Everything is fragile, and everything is connected. But from the outside, it's invisible for a long time. Aging doesn't look like illness. It looks like tiredness, forgetfulness, hesitation. It's like a shadow that keeps growing. One day, it's hard to bend over. Next day, it's hard to get off the couch. Then you forget why you opened the cupboard. No one talks about it, not doctors, not family. Everything gets blamed on just age. But these are symptoms of system breakdowns, neural, vascular, hormonal, and these can't be ignored or waited out. They must be stopped. The biggest problem in aging is loss of adaptability. The body and brain can't handle change. A temperature drop triggers high blood pressure. New food causes inflammation. One bad night, and the next morning is full of brain fog, weakness, and anxiety. Heart rate variability drops. Blood thickens. The immune system stops recognizing threats. Even a minor source of inflammation, a tooth, the gut, or an old infection, becomes a background fire, damaging your brain, vessels, and bones. Aging isn't about "my knees hurt." It's about your body losing its balance, one day at a time. The aging body still has the ability to recover, but it needs the right signals. And the long-lived, those who live past 90, give their bodies those signals every single day. No pills, no lab tests, just through everyday habits. That's what this part is about. The first secret is a warm breakfast before 9 a.m. All long-lived people, from Japan to the Caucasus, eat early and eat something hot. Porridge, stewed vegetables, soups. This kickstarts metabolism, supports temperature regulation, and lowers cortisol levels. Seniors who eat breakfast before 9 have more stable blood sugar and blood pressure, less anxiety, and better memory. Those who skip breakfast or just have tea and bread often complain about feeling cold, weak, and sleepy. The key is to avoid sugar and coffee on an empty stomach. Better options are oatmeal with butter, buckwheat, stewed pumpkin, eggs, and herbal tea. The second secret is to move every 45 minutes while awake. Long-lived people rarely sit still. They don't go to the gym, but they're always in motion, cleaning, cooking, walking to the store, tending the garden. This is essential for blood and lymph circulation and for feeding the brain. A sedentary lifestyle causes blood to stagnate, reduces oxygen to the brain, and increases anxiety. The pelvic area suffers the most, leading to constipation, urinary issues, and swollen legs. Every 45 minutes, stand up, walk, stretch, rotate your neck, do a lap around the room. Even that helps prevent stroke. The third secret is to eat dinner before 6:30 p.m. and get calm sleep. This is the most consistent rhythm among long-lived people. They don't overeat in the evening, don't watch the news, and avoid screens. Dinner is light: soup, stewed vegetables, a little fish, and herbal tea. They sleep with windows open, or at least air out the bedroom. They fall asleep by 10 p.m. This supports hormone recovery, reduces inflammation, and strengthens blood vessels. Late sleepers disrupt melatonin production, the key hormone for nightly repair. And a heavy dinner overloads the liver, makes sleep shallow, and prevents brain detoxification. The long-lived always sleep in darkness, without gadgets or background noise. It's a habit they've followed for decades. The fourth secret is fatty fish at least twice a week. Salmon, mackerel, herring, sardines. These are the top sources of omega-3s that feed the brain, protect blood vessels, and lower inflammation markers. According to the Institute for Nutrition and Longevity, cognitive decline occurs 3.5 times less often in people over 70 who regularly eat oily fish. Important note: don't fry the fish and don't pair it with potatoes, sauces, or bread. Best to steam or bake it with herbs, lemon, and boiled vegetables. Fish isn't special occasion food. It's daily medicine against aging when prepared right. The fifth secret is emotional engagement. All long-lived people have a purpose. They have a garden, a grandchild, a church community, or a habit of sharing. They read, talk, and get involved. That's what protects the brain from decline. Lonely and passive people age faster. Lack of purpose triggers neuron death. Dopamine levels drop, anxiety increases, and social withdrawal begins. The point is not just to do something, but to be involved. Even if you're tired, call someone, write a letter, take on something with an outcome. It's not just about passing time. It's a biological need for the brain. A late breakfast disrupts hormonal rhythm, increases morning fatigue, and stresses the liver. The body stays in fasting mode, which leads to sugar and blood pressure spikes. Breakfast must be warm and include fats, oatmeal, butter, stewed apples, buckwheat, eggs, rosehip tea. This triggers bile flow, stabilizes cortisol, and provides long-lasting energy. Coffee on an empty stomach is a common mistake, especially with high blood pressure and anxiety. Sitting too long slows venous return, causes blood pooling in the legs, and reduces blood flow to the brain. Even simple exercises, heel raises, torso twists, shoulder rolls, improve circulation. For those with swelling, varicose veins, or hypertension, these mini movements every 45 minutes are essential. Not fitness, but survival for the nervous and vascular systems. A late or heavy dinner worsens nighttime hypertension, disrupts tissue repair, and blocks melatonin production. The best dinner is a light protein and vegetable meal before 6:30 p.m. For example, stewed vegetables, a little fish, and a warm herbal infusion. The last hour before bed must be quiet and dark. Light, news, sweets, or phones all damage sleep quality and stop the body from repairing itself at night, when the brain goes through its most important cleanup. Fish loses its benefits if it's fried, served with potatoes, or smothered in sauces. Omega-3s get damaged by high heat. Carbs spike insulin, and store-bought toppings interfere with digestion. Long-lived people steam or bake fish in foil with lemon, herbs, and vegetables. no bread. This supports the brain, joints, vessels, and immune system. Just twice a week is enough if it's regular. Lack of purpose accelerates neurodegeneration. Passivity lowers dopamine, increases anxiety, and worsens memory. Even minimal engagement, taking care of plants, daily phone calls, crosswords, reading, short nature walks, signals the brain that it's still needed. And when the brain knows it's needed, the neurons work. Long-lived people don't withdraw from life. They stay in it. That's their greatest resource. All these secrets only work together. One element without the others loses its power. Fish won't help if you go to bed at 2 a.m. A walk won't help if you skip breakfast. Giving up sugar is pointless if your sleep isn't restorative. Long-lived people didn't just know this. They lived it every day, calmly, consistently, without heroics, because true protection from aging is built on habits like these. Seniors often say, "I eat the same, just feel weaker." But the problem isn't weakness. The food has stopped working. White bread, cookies, jam, sausages, mayonnaise, refined oils, store-bought sauces, canned goods, sweet drinks. All of these destroy the body's defense systems. Blood sugar spikes, the pancreas is overwhelmed, vessels suffer microinflammation. Foods high in sugar and trans fats disrupt cell receptors. Even vitamins stop being absorbed. Morning sweets are especially dangerous. Cereal bars, honey granola, bananas with pastries. Sugar in the morning blocks serotonin and reduces neuron activity. At night, the same sugar hinders vascular repair, disrupts melatonin, and creates oxidative stress. The invisible danger is the frequent just a little. A spoon of sugar in tea, a slice of pie, ketchup with dinner. These tiny things add up to damage. Long-lived people don't avoid sugar because they fear diabetes. They know sugar fuels inflammation. It triggers processes that quietly destroy the brain, joints, skin, and heart. The same goes for refined vegetable oils, especially sunflower. When heated, it becomes carcinogenic and damages cell membranes. Real longevity is impossible without removing slow poisons from the diet. An unstable routine is the enemy of an aging body. Cells follow circadian rhythms, hormones, enzymes, blood pressure, body temperature, all fluctuate by schedule. When you eat and sleep at random times, the body loses its bearings. Insulin, cortisol, and melatonin production become disrupted. Blood thickens, digestion weakens, the brain gets overloaded. Even healthy food is poorly absorbed when eaten in a rush or off schedule. Long-lived people have strict routines. Wake at the same time, eat breakfast within the first hour, lunch at a set time, light dinner before 6 p.m. Sleep by 10 p.m. This isn't restriction, it's the foundation of health. Studies from the Vermont Center for Circadian Medicine show that people with consistent routines have 43% lower inflammatory markers and retain cognitive function longer. Disrupted routines are especially dangerous in old age. Every misstep takes 2 to 3 times longer to recover. Missing even 1 hour of sleep causes blood pressure spikes, memory loss, and weakened immunity. After 60, schedule is not preference. It's protection. You can't talk about aging without mentioning gut microbiota. Up to 100 trillion bacteria live in your gut, and they control vitamin absorption, serotonin and dopamine production, immune regulation, and energy levels. When the microbiome is disrupted, the body begins to self-destruct. Nutrient absorption drops, immunity goes haywire, and inflammation becomes constant. The main enemies of the microbiome are sugar, fried food, overeating, antibiotics, and inactivity. Many seniors drink yogurt and think it's enough, but 90% of store-bought dairy products are useless. Real support comes from sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, homemade kefir, and herbal teas. Probiotics must be combined with fiber, lentils, oats, apples with peel, beets, leafy greens. Without fiber, even the best supplements won't work. Beneficial bacteria won't thrive. The microbiome needs daily care, not just courses. Constipation is not just discomfort, it's chronic poisoning. One day without a bowel movement overloads the liver, pollutes the blood, and poisons the brain. Long-lived people know this. Their digestion is regular, and that's what helps extend their lives. In Japan, long-lived people live in rural areas, eat small portions, and go outside daily, even in the rain. Their diet includes miso soup, fish, rice, seaweed, fermented vegetables. They eat almost no sugar and stop eating when 80% full. This is the principle of hara hachi bu, never overeating. In the Caucasus, longevity comes from work-rest balance, fermented dairy, natural foods, and quiet living. They eat porridge, legumes, garlic, herbs, and rarely meat. They never rush, but always stay active. On the Italian island of Sardinia, home to the highest concentration of male centenarians, people don't sit still. They eat bitter herbs, goat cheese, hard wheat bread, small amounts of dry red wine. Their lives always have purpose, family, land, and home. Despite cultural differences, all these people share the same pillars: rhythm, real food, emotional engagement, and movement. It's not coincidence, it's a system. The aging brain is especially sensitive to oxygen. But as we age, breathing becomes shallow. Seniors rarely take deep breaths. Lungs lose elasticity. Chest muscles weaken, and hypoxia develops. This causes brain fog, fatigue, and increases dementia risk. It's especially dangerous at night when the body needs oxygen to repair. Even light snoring is a warning sign. The brain is suffocating. Long-lived people have habits that protect them: airing out the bedroom, belly breathing, walking in cold air, doing breathing exercises 2 to 3 times a day. A simple technique: inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6. It reduces anxiety, oxygenates the cells, and activates the vagus nerve. Without breath, there's no energy. And without energy, aging comes faster. Oxygen isn't just air, it's life for every cell. The long-lived aren't just lucky. They're people who chose not to fight aging, but to live in harmony with their bodies. They don't read the news in bed, don't snack on cookies with tea at night, don't complain about joint pain. They massage their legs, drink sage tea, and go to bed when the sun sets. Their lives aren't about treatment. They're about daily recalibration. If they feel cold, they make warm soup. If their head feels heavy, they step outside for air. If their mood dips, they find something to do. This is micro-prevention, the very thing most people ignore as unimportant. But it's exactly what determines whether the body will work tomorrow. There's a term, homeostasis. It means internal balance. In youth, it's stable. In old age, it's fragile. One stress, one sleepless night, one day of dehydration, and the whole system crashes. Long-lived people know, to preserve homeostasis, you don't wait until things go wrong. You support it all the time. That's why they don't say, soup today, fast food tomorrow. They don't treat insomnia with pills. They act in advance. Their choices are simple: movement, calm, real food, warmth, routine, quiet, purpose. It's not a recipe. It's a culture. Sadly, many seniors lose their way. Life becomes a list of symptoms and pills. But pills don't replace missing habits. 1 hour in front of a screen at night ruins sleep more than coffee. One evening of no movement thickens the blood. One night on the couch leads to aching joints. The body says, I can't cope. But instead of changing the routine, the person takes a painkiller. And the cycle continues. It's vital to understand longevity isn't just about not getting sick. It's about not losing yourself in body or in mind. And that's only possible if every day you create conditions for the body to function. Simple examples: warmth in the morning, not just for comfort, but because your body needs heat to wake up. Fermented foods, not just for calcium, but because your gut affects your brain. Silence at night, not just for sleep, but because the brain needs the signal that the day is over. Everything is connected. No centenarian started taking care of themselves after a stroke. They started before, 10, 20, 30 years earlier. That's what sets them apart. They don't chase doctors. They don't search for miracle pills. They just live by the rules that keep the body going, and they don't do it heroically. They do it naturally, because the alternative is to fall apart. Your body isn't a perpetual engine. It doesn't run on autopilot. It runs on signals you send. And each signal is either support or destruction. You may think, it's not too late. But the body doesn't wait. It remembers every sleepless night, every hour of screen time, every meal with more salt than sense. And at some point, it responds, not with complaints, but with failure. It stops waking up with strength. It stops keeping balance. It stops remembering names. It stops coping. Old age doesn't arrive suddenly. It accumulates in the blood vessels, the brain, the gut, the bones. Every day you didn't eat right. Every evening you went to bed late. Every week you stayed indoors. It builds up. Then it becomes a diagnosis, a fear, a pain, a dependency. You can prevent that, but not later. Not when the IV drip is already in. Not when you need help to stand. Not when stairs terrify you. Now, because tomorrow may no longer be the time when change is possible. That's why we make these videos, to give you a chance. Not a miracle, not magic, but truth. So you can choose to keep fading or to start returning. Your strength, your memory, your independence, If you've watched this far, you've already made your choice. You want to live, not just long, but fully. And that means you can. Because now you have the knowledge. All that's left is to act, not once, but every day. Support us. Like the video, subscribe, and click the bell. That helps us keep making more content like this. But most importantly, don't miss tomorrow. It can be better or worse, and it depends only on you.